Okay, today with us we have Rony Seikaly speaking with us at EDM Life. Rony was born in Lebanon. He grew up in Greece, moved to the U.S. to play basketball at Syracuse, where he led them to the championship game. And then later he was the first round pick by the Miami Heat, and he led them to the playoffs as well. At the same time, Ronnie's been a lifelong dance music fan who started spinning records as a teen and then professionally in the past decade, playing such events as the Ultra Music Festival and the BPM Festival. In the past year, he's launched his own record label, Stride, with several recent releases. And in his career, originally playing basketball, Ronnie was known as the Spin Doctor, and now that label fits perfectly for his later career in dance music. Ronnie, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us today.
Thank you, Greg.
So recently, a documentary about your life and career was released and could be seen on YouTube. How did that project come about?
I'd worked with Jared, the producer of the documentary, a few times before as a journalist for Sports Illustrated and Bleacher Report, and I always thought that he was very good at writing the story. So when we talked, we said, he started doing these documentaries, these mini docs, and they're really, really well done. So he reached out to me and said that they wanted to do something on me. It would be a full-length documentary, and we had a lot of fun shooting it, and it came out great.
Great, yeah, we really enjoyed watching it, and there are definitely some things about your past history and even your later career in business that we weren't aware of. We could say that I guess some people would call you sort of a Renaissance man with your three very different parts of your life. You have the DJing and the music producing, a highly successful college and pro basketball career. And what we didn't know is you're also a developer of luxury real estate homes in Miami. And asking this question, I guess, would be sort of like if you had three children, which is your favorite? But of those three very different parts of your life, which one would you say is kind of closest to your heart, kind of the favorite?
It's a very good question, and I've been very fortunate to have been able to do the three things that I love the most. And honestly, when I tell you basketball is everything I did as a young kid, going to college, playing in the NBA, that was my life. And I had a lot of love for that moment and time. Music is also another love of mine, and it's been with me since I was a little kid DJing in my parents' garage. So that had never left me, even while playing basketball. And that's why I always had kind of like mini clubs, I would turn a room into a little club, and I'll play music for friends, even during the NBA years. So music has never left my fiber in any way. And then the real estate is something that I had an eye for. This is, it's something that I love doing, and I saw very early on that I had an eye for architecture and for design, stuff like that. So I started taking pictures of different houses that I would see around the world that I would be impressed by, and just whether it goes down to the smallest detail, whether it's the color of the wood or whatever it is, or the texture. So, and that kind of led me on to this life. And that was, I always said to myself, what am I going to do after basketball? Basketball, you retire at 35. If you can push it a few more years, great, but more likely you'll play even less than 35. And then what do you do for the next 70? And that's how I kind of jump-started this career in real estate, and said, this is something that I enjoy doing, and it's something that I like, and I can make money out of it. So it can't be that bad. So asking that question and reverting back, and I tell you, like, everything played such a big role in my life that I can't let go of any of them.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's a great answer, and you love all of them, and they're always going to be a part of your life, even if you're not quite. The NBA part of it is you kind of moved on past that for obvious reasons. So now you have played in the NBA. The NCAA championship game and the NBA playoffs, And obviously, I imagine it's a very kind of stressful, anxiety-filled situation. But how would you say that compares to being in the front of a crowd of thousands of dance music fans and wanting to make sure you deliver a great set that puts a smile on everyone's face?
It's always the most important thing for a DJ. I mean, to capture the moment, to be with the crowd is the moment that every DJ lives for. So, as strong as that connection is, will never be as strong as hitting a winning shot or something of that same caliber. Because of the pressure that comes with playing basketball. Basketball, you're scrutinized on every possession, every game, yard. But as a DJ, you can be an artist and kind of drift other places. And if people know you, they'll follow you through with that drift, as long as you don't drift too far. And you can always play with the crowd in that sense. But in the end, you can't play with anybody. This is like, your livelihood. So it's really two different things, but basketball absolutely wins.
Right. No, that's a great answer. So, in terms of DJing out, what would you say are some of your favorite venues or parties that you play around the world, especially being a globetrotting DJ?
I think my favorite two clubs in the world are Space in Miami and Garten in Beirut, Lebanon. They're kind of the same, where they're dance floor driven clubs. So people are there for the music and not so much, for the bottle service kind of thing. So it's just kind of really, people are there to listen to what you got. And so I love that aspect of those clubs. And then obviously my biggest moment was when I headlined Amnesia in Ibiza. And that was pretty intense, but as intense as it was never, I never felt the pressure that I would feel in the NBA. So when I played Amnesia, it was like kind of, it's only 5,000 people. I'm used to playing in front of 30,000 people, so it wasn't that bad.
Sure, yeah. And it's great that you mentioned Space. That was actually related to a bit of the next question we had. I've attended the Winter Music Conference, Ultra Week parties going back almost 20 years now. And it does seem a little bit as though the Miami nightclub scene has dropped off a bit from where it was. You used to have all the Opium Group venues. At one point, I know you were, I believe, a part owner of Wall. I don't know if you're still involved there. Of course, Live still does very well. Space does very well. But some of the other ones like Electric Pickle don't exist anymore. Do you think there's any reason why maybe there's a bit of a change in the Miami nightlife scene and it maybe outside of, that 1 week in March isn't quite the same?
Well, I think that's the case for every city, pretty much in the world. I mean, you've got a couple of venues that work, and that's it. One, the DJ fees are too high, so these little clubs couldn't pay the DJs, and if they do pay the DJs, then they have to charge their clients. If they charge their clients too high of a price, they'll come once or twice, and they won't come again. And that's what was going on. It was just the kind of DJs were getting priced where clubs are just basically open, for people to have fun but not to make money. So it just became senseless to own clubs if you got to pay this kind of fees to DJs and promoters.
Sure. And, you mentioned Space being one of your favorite clubs to play, and because they have the 24-hour liquor license there, they're kind of famous for staying open well into the next day. What's like kind of the longest set you've played there?
My longest set was probably maybe 10 to 12 hours.
Wow, that's amazing to be able to sit there and just kind of kind of be in the groove that long and not take any breaks. It's pretty impressive. So
I'm playing again November 9th at Space, so that's going to be exciting.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll make a note of that. So Now, one of the festivals you played in the past was the BPM Festival in Mexico. I believe you kind of pretty much played every year, and they've now announced they're going to kind of relaunch it in Costa Rica in January. Are you able to say if you might be playing there at that event?
Yes, I'm definitely going to play there. I think that's a great move for them to move to Costa Rica. There's festivals everywhere in the world, but when people can make a vacation out of it, it just makes so much more sense. And I know a lot of people love to go to Costa Rica, and then you get music as well as an amazing combination. So I think it's a great move by them, and I'll definitely play there.
Sure, yeah. We hope it turns out well with the new location. So now next week is Burning Man, and I understand you'll be out there. Is that something you kind of go to every year?
Yeah, this will be my 14th year straight.
Oh wow, that's pretty impressive. Especially, I know a lot of people
Yes.
are having trouble getting tickets this year. It sounds like anecdotally over here.
Yeah, well, it's I used to go when it wasn't the thing to do. It was kind of more of a taboo thing, to go to Burning Man. You got to be a weirdo to go to Burning Man. Now it's become a hip thing to do. So it's funny to see this all of a sudden. It became part of Coachella and Burning Man are in the same kind of breath.
Right, no doubt. Yeah, we kind of hear the same thing. What camps or what parties will you be playing at next week?
I'm playing the closing set on Robot Heart on Wednesday morning, and I'm playing the closing set at District on Wednesday afternoon at 6 p.m.
Okay, great. Yeah, we attended District's Burning Man party here in LA early this summer. That was a good time. What would you say you loved the most about Burning Man? I mean, you've kind of noted maybe the crowd's kind of changed. It went from like kind of the weird thing to go to the trendy thing to go to. But what could you say you appeals to you to go each year?
I think it's an experience that people should participate in. I think it's an experience that humbles you. It's an experience that gets you back to the roots of things. Freedom of being whatever you'd like to be, and just being free of time, phones, whatever it is, just free of everything, and just time to yourself and go around. It's like Disney World for kids. Between looking at the art is some amazing artists are doing some great things, and the fact that everybody's kind of equal in the sense that everybody's on their bicycles. And, it could be a billionaire on one bicycle, next to him is a plumber on the other bicycle, and you wouldn't know the difference. So everybody's kind of equal. Everybody helps out each other. It's nice to have for a week because it kind of just reminds you of how to be a human being and and how to enjoy yourself and your freedom and your time and listen, everything. Burning Man. It's all ebbs and flows, and that's part of the whole adventure to it. It's not something where you can go and guarantee that things are going to work out for you for the whole week. You're going to have some good times and you're going to have some really bad times. But the combination of the two is what makes you stronger and what makes you more and more humble, and that's what I look for.
Right. Yeah. That's a great description, I think, of why everyone should try and get out there at least once. So now you have a new track, I understand, coming out in September, I believe, called Frontin', and that is on your own label, Stride Records. What can you tell us about that?
It's I love. I'm like a junkie when it comes to productions. I mean, a lot of music all the time, so it just doesn't stop. This is a track I did. I used a little bit of a hip hop vocal. Obviously, it's fast, so you can't really tell that it's hip hop vocal, but it's a catchy tune. It's been playing it in the summer, and people are just people are loving it when I play it during my set.
Sure, yeah. And do you know offhand the release date on that?
We're looking at mid-September, but we haven't gotten back yet the exact date. But it should be in between mid-September and September.
Okay, so everyone should be on the lookout for that in about a month or so. Now, so far on your new label, all the tracks, I believe, have been either solo tracks you wrote or maybe some you co-produced with other artists. Are there any plans to release tracks just done by other artists?
Yes, this track that's being released next month, Frontin, is also going to be remixed by a great producer. His name is Saab, Sabb. He's the owner of Radiant Music Label, which is a great label. Today they've got numerous number one hits. They're always in top 10, kind of thing. But it's a great label, and he's the head of the label, and he's a great producer. So he's doing the remix for me, and looking forward to listening to what he's going to do with it.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing that. And now you had an EP early this summer, Practice, and that was also one of the tracks from that. Some people are kind of familiar with the famous Allen Iverson soundbite you used talking about his dismissing his lack of effort at basketball practice. Have you heard from him or any of the others in the NBA kind of, about the fact you based a song around that sample?
It's funny because I really thought that I was going to hear back from somebody, and I actually didn't hear back from anybody. That shows you that they don't really listen to house music or could care less.
Right, there you go. Yeah. So, well, now I've seen, you probably noticed that we've seen Shaq out now playing some festivals. Maybe he's very, very different music style, but you two could do the two tallest guys in dance music. Set something up there. So.
Yeah, we're gonna have to spin disco or something to get in the middle.
Yeah. Do you still run into the problem where, due to your height, when you show up in an event, they didn't read the rider closely, and the decks aren't high enough for you, so you're kind of constantly bending over? I can imagine that would be just kind of a bit frustrating for a long set, especially.
Oh yeah, I mean it always happens, and you either get it fixed or you just got to deal with it for that night. But for longer sets, you usually have it all set because they know. For the shorter sets, sometimes you just have to bite the bullet for a couple hours.
Right, yeah. Kind of power through it, but it's definitely, I'm sure it's a little annoying. So, and the last question we had, do you have any other kind of major projects, be it in music or real estate or anything else coming up in the near future, you'd like to kind of mention?
I mean, I'm always looking for stuff. I'm always hungry to learn and to do things. So I'm sure that I'm going to come up with something, and I'm going to continue doing the music and but something will come of something else. I haven't zoned in on it yet. I'm just enjoying this ride.
Right. Well, based on your past history, how well you've been doing with everything else, we're quite sure whatever your next projects should be a great success and do very, very well. So, anyway, Rony.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rony. Thank you so much for your time, for speaking to us now, and for those of you listening to this, make sure you catch Rony's weekly radio show, Sugar Free Radio. And also watch the recent documentary about his life on YouTube. He did it with Close Up 360, and we'll also post the links to those below wherever you may be catching this. That's it for now. Thanks, Rony, and have a good time at Burning Man next week.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, have a good one. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Thanks. Bye.